make a start? We've got to be out by half past. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Thoroughbred Rehabilitation Centre Charity Race Day here at Haydock. Today we have brought you six horses that have either been at the centre or are currently at the centre, being retrained after their racing careers have finished. The Thoroughbred Centre started some 17 years ago in response to the number of racehorses that were actually leaving racing and training and didn't particularly have anywhere to go. They didn't have any new career in terms of other disciplines. What the Thoroughbred Centre does is it is gifted horses from owners, trainers and non-racing people. We retrain them and rehome them as part of our loan scheme. The key to the work that the Thoroughbred Centre does is that it never ever sells any of its horses. Once the horse is gifted to the centre remains the owner of the horse until the end of its career or the end of its life. So once the horse is retrained and rehomed, if there's a problem with the loan home or the loaner's circumstances change, the horse will always return to the centre. Therefore, it's monitored for the rest of its life. The horses that we've brought to see you today, are all at various stages of their retraining, although some have already been rehomed. So if we look at some of them individually, Yvonne, if I can ask you to wave. Yvonne is riding St. Riverian, who is a 12-year-old thoroughbred. He came to the in May 2011, straight from the trainer after retiring sound. He was trained by Andy Hobbs and he was originally bought for about £75,000. I'm now going to hand you over to Kath, who's the yard manager and trainer at the centre, who's going to talk to you a little bit about the retraining process that Frenchie is currently undergoing.
Hi, well, Frenchie has been a prolific winner at point to point, so we sort of thought his career would probably go to eventing. So this is what as he came to us, he'd obviously been jumping fences at speed and jumping very flat. So as part of his retraining program, obviously if he's going to be an event horse, he's going to need to leave the show jumps up. We've do a lot of, we call it grid work, where we do lots of poles and jumps in a line to help him to have a rounder, more bascule jump rather than a flat galloping jump that you see the horses on the racetrack. Also, he's hopefully going to be doing some dressage as part of his eventing career, so he's had to learn how to do circles, which is something he'll have never done in his racing career as well. And Frenchie has got a fantastic attitude. He's actually a little bit excited about being here today. So. But he's actually really enjoyed his new career. He's really been a pleasure to retrain, and we've actually found him another home with a gentleman who is going to take him on to a new eventing career. Behind Frenchie, we have Jeannie or Jeannie, who's ridden today by his loaner, Rachel Davis. Can you just give us a wave, Rachel, so we know who you are? Rachel is very visible in her high-vis outfit today. Many of our horses will have to do an element of hacking when they're rehomed, so it's important to us that the horse is safe out hacking, is good in traffic, and that the rider can be seen. As the roads get busier and busier, sometimes this can be a problem, but if you wear the right equipment and the right high-vis equipment, then hopefully you'll be seen. Now, Jeannie, as you can see, is walking very nicely and very calmly behind Frenchie. Different temperament altogether. Jeannie came to the TRC in May 2004. He had raced about 46 times on the flat and all weather, and he was gifted to the centre by Reg and Sarah Hollingshead. He first raced as a 5-year-old and he won 4 times, he was second 3 times and third 6 times. Although he's been rehomed twice in the past, today he's ridden by his loaner, Rachel Davis. Now Rachel, she's had Jeannie since October 2008. Rachel does quite a lot with Jeannie. You see from his lovely calm temperament, he's going to be suited to lots of things. He loves hacking out, and he hacks out on busy roads. He goes over motorway bridges, under bridges. He does fun rides, he does forest rides, and he's really, really good in traffic. So again, many of the horses we have here will go on to homes where they can just be hacked out nicely.
behind Jeannie, we have Haroldini. Can you just give us a wave, Carol Ann? Carol Ann decked out looking beautiful in her dressage kit. Haroldini came to the centre in August 2010. He actually raced 64 times on the all-weather and flat. Although he was a syndicate horse and he was trained by Joyce Boulding. Joyce retired him in April 2010 and then gifted him to the centre.
Harold, when he came to the centre and we started to work with him, wasn't the happiest of people. He was really quite grumpy about people being around him, and we were struggling to actually keep weight on him. So it was actually highlighted that he actually had ulcers, which is quite a common thing when a horse has been in quite a stressful situation, such as their racing career. So we've treated him for that, and he's actually now blossomed in his weight, and his attitude has changed dramatically, and he's a much happier horse. And for him, he's actually, although today he's dressed up in the dressage kit, you'll see actually all our riders are all dressed up in various different disciplines just to show the versatility of the thoroughbred. You know, we've got Yvonne at the beginning is dressed up in her eventing kit, Carol Ann as dressage. The next one down, which Nikki will be telling you a bit more about, Charlotte's dressed up with a showing kit on as a retraining of racehorse classes, because now there's a very big series that runs particularly for racehorses, horses that have been that have actually ran in races, and there's specific classes, not only in showing but eventing, dressage, show jumping, I think polo, horseball. There's so many disciplines now that they're actually trying to promote that these versatile horses can have another career. And we'll just go, and we've got Roz, who's on the next horse, the chestnut horse, is dressed up for show jumping, and Tara on the last horse is dressed up for hunting. As I say, just to show that all these horses can do different things. And actually Harold, the third horse along that we've just been talking about in the dressage outfit, is actually, he'll be going as an all-rounder. So he'll probably be lending a hand to all of these different things.
And Harold, the good news is that Harold has actually just been rehomed. So he will be going to his new lone home next month. So that's good news for Harold. Now, behind Harold, over in the dim distant past over there, we have Charlotte Bowery, who is riding Leopard Rock. Can you just give us a little wave, Charlotte? Rocky looking resplendent this morning. Rocky was originally purchased for £25,000 in Ireland and was trained originally by Ben DeHaan. He raced 24 times, 18 times over hurdles, and 6 times on the flat. He retired from racing in April 2002 after sustaining a tendon injury. He was gifted to us in 2002 after he sustained this injury, having had some time off to recover. When he came to the centre, however, he still had more recuperation to do. He had very poor hoof quality and collapsed heels. It took 12 months to correct these foot problems before he could start the retraining process. Now, Charlotte has had a great deal of success with Rocky and has recently qualified for the Royal International Horse Show next year. Kath will talk to you a little bit about the retraining she does with Charlotte and Rocky.
Well, Rocky, this was his first time in the show ring, was when he started his career with Charlotte, which only was relatively, it was back in April of this year. And obviously, if you think about his racing career, will have been very buzzy, very exciting. He won't have been expected to be mannerly and particularly walk around quietly and to actually behave himself in the show ring, which is what's required in the show ring. So Rocky not only has had to learn how to do circles and work in a totally different outline than he would when he's galloping flat out. You'll see the horses today when they're racing, they'll have their head carried high, and they won't be working in this rounder outline that you'll see Rocky's working in today. So we've got to re-educate the horses to think in a different way and to use their backs. And as I say, Charlotte's not only had to teach Rocky how to use his body in a different way, but also to relax his mind. And this has taken a lot of dedication. Charlotte's been out every weekend, getting him used to it. So he realizes that when he comes out of the lorry, it's not to go flat out everywhere. It's actually to trot around looking very pretty. So I'd say Charlotte's doing a great job with him, and I'd say to qualify, it's a fantastic thing to go to Hickstead, and she will be, I know, chasing to try and get to Horse of the Year show next year as well.
Behind Charlotte we have Royal Plum. We call him Harvey. Can you just give us a wave, Roz, so we know who you are? Harvey's ridden today by Roz, who has responsibility for his training with Cat at the centre. Harvey's one of our older horses at 15 years old. He came to the centre in 2008 after racing 21 times. Now, he's had a very varied career. He's actually done a bit of everything. He's raced on the all-weather, the flat, hurdles, he's chased, and he's done 7-point points. Harvey last raced in March 2004 and was then sold straight from racing to go on to team chase. The lady that actually bought Harvey, due to ill health, couldn't keep him any longer. She couldn't ride him and realised that she needed to secure an appropriate future for him. So she rang the centre and she gifted him to the centre. Now, in the 3 years that Harvey's been at the centre, we've had various modicums of success with him. He's been rehomed twice, but returned to a change in the loaner's circumstances. But again, as we said, the TRC never sells its horses, so if the loan home doesn't work out for whatever reason, the horse returns to the centre, and we then look for another appropriate home for the horse.
Now, Harvey is a bit of a character, and you'll see today he's incredibly laid back, and he's been a fantastic patron of ours, going out to all the demos, and he does behave himself very well when he's out in public. But he has got a cheeky side to him. And actually, when I first met Harvey, he was having quite a lot of issues with his back. And if you can imagine, if you look at the jockeys today and see their tiny little saddles they're going to have on, then you look at the riders here, they've got much, much bigger saddles. They've obviously got longer legs, because the jockeys all have their legs very short. So the horse have got to get used to having these bigger saddles on, and obviously having the rider's legs as well. So and Harvey was struggling with getting the perfect fit of saddle for him, and actually, if the rider isn't sat quite right, that he kept bucking because he felt that it was quite uncomfortable if the saddle wasn't quite right. That's Harvey actually doing his normal little cheeky. So as we've been working with developing these new saddles, and we're very lucky to have the help of Jaguar Saddles to develop the saddle for these thoroughbreds, Harvey has come on in leaps and bounds. And again, he's been very fortunate because of this, and because of the physio doing some work with his back as well. That's really helped him to actually, we've found him a home as well, and he's going to be a general all-rounder because he does love to jump.
And last but not least, we have Tara, who's riding Bencore. Just give us a wave, Tara. There we go. Cheery wave. Benke is a 6-year-old Irish-bred thoroughbred, and he came to the centre in August of this year, 2 weeks after his last race. Now, he's walking around